Did you know in Orlando, the Halloween celebration has already begun? So don't wait. Treat yourself to an Orlando escape. From Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Orlando Resort to Halloween Spooktacular at SeaWorld to Mickey's Not-So-Scary Halloween Party at Walt Disney World. No one tricks and treats like Orlando, the Halloween vacation capital of the world. For official event schedules, discounted attraction tickets, and hotel deals, click to visitorlando.com.
TV party tonight! What? TV party tonight!
Oh, we got nothing better to do than watch TV and have a couple of brews.
Don't want to talk about anything else.
We don't want to know.
We're dedicated to our favorite shows!
Oh, my circuits!
Everybody loves Hippo Toes.
Scary dog!
Pearson at Blurnsville.
Futurama!
Good evening. You are listening to a Radulich and Broadcasting Network premiere podcast TV party tonight. I'm your host, the man data reporter, and frankly, I'm mortified, Mr. Mark Radulich. And tonight, our favorite show is She-Ra, Season 3, brought to you by the good people at Netflix and DreamWorks. Joining me, and Mattel, as a matter of fact. And NBC Universal Television. Yeah, I finally got it all. Joining me, as she has for the past 2 times that we've looked at this particular series, from Honeysuckle Rose Creations. She's on the road again, and she don't know where she'll be traveling when. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Alexis Hejna. How do you do, madam?
Doing good. Coming to you guys in Poplar Bluffs, Missouri. I'm here for SEMOCon this weekend.
What is a SEMOCon?
I have absolutely no idea. This is our first time working this show.
So you don't know what the theme is at all?
Not really. I just show up with my wire wrap dice and I say, "Here, shiny things, give me money."
Ah, okay. You'll have to tell me then after you've actually worked this con what SEMOCon is supposed to be, because based on the just based on SEMO, I couldn't even begin to figure that out.
Yeah, me neither. Like, it's a very small show, but it's not too far away from us. But yeah, Kansas City's about a 6-hour drive. So, and this is a fun part of the state. It's very nice. It's quiet out here. I kind of like it. Are
you on your own, or do you have help? Did your husband go with you?
No, Andre is home watching the dogs. Someone's got to make sure that Eddie and Toby are okay.
So you're out there selling vacuums by yourself, huh?
Well, it's better than selling essential oils.
I have this picture of you, like in a brown suit and and a hat. You're just going door to door, like, hello, because in my version of your life, you're living in the 50s and you're a door to door salesman.
So I'm thinking now of that one cartoon with Daffy Duck. It's like, "Good morning," or it's like, "Good morning, sir. I have here an assortment of personal." Is the lady of the house in?
That's good stuff. Where we last left our hero, She-Ra, Catra had Shadow Weaver in a cell. Shadow Weaver manipulated her way out of said cell, and she made her way to the castle. Help me out with the names as I forget them. Bright Moon. She makes her way to Bright Moon, and that's where things pick up here in season 3. She tells that nobody believes that she's defected. She, however, is trying to get them to realize that they are in dire straits, as the plan for Hordak is for him to get enough First World tech together to build a portal to wherever the Horde out in space happen to be. And she's trying to get them to stop this at any cost, because it's their doom if they don't. They pack a lot into these 6 episodes. It was the same thing with the last season. Season 2 was 7 episodes. First one was actually 13. There's a lot going on there. Second one, 7, and then this one, 6 episodes. I'm wondering if they're going to do like Voltron and actually put out a full 13 or 10 again, or they're going to keep doing these kind of half-a-season releases. Either way, there was a lot in the 6 22-minute episodes to discuss, and it ends with a pretty good cliffhanger here. They've done a really good job of hooking you into the forthcoming season at every turn. What did you think of the season overall?
I am kind of wonder if we're going to get a longer one. Part of me wonders if they're still trying to figure out what they're going to do with He-Man. Because I said in our last episode when we talked about She-Ra season 2, they keep building up where Adora came from. And in this season, it's established that she came through a portal. They have absolutely no idea where she came from before that. So they're building that up a lot. And it really does make me wonder, are they just pushing this until they can finally bring He-Man in? Because the last I heard, Kevin Smith is doing something with He-Man, and the live-action movie was on hold. I don't know.
I hadn't heard the live-action movie was on hold, because it has been... They casted He-Man, and I thought they were going on with it. Who knows? This He-Man movie that David Goyer was working on has been one trouble after another. So I would tell you that regardless of what they do with the live-action He-Man, it's going to be living in its own separate universe than anything having to do with this cartoon. But you are right. Kevin Smith is doing his own animated He-Man reboot. And She-Ra and He-Man belong to the same company, so there's no reason why they can't intermingle. But I don't know if he's doing his own separate thing in its own universe, or this is meant to merge these two things together and we have a kind of cinematic cartoon universe between the two characters. Either way, they may just be putting this off because it's a huge reveal and they don't want to give away the store too early. I mean, like I said, Voltron went a good 7-8 seasons. So I think they just might be trying to get a lot of mileage out of She-Ra, and once they start to reveal where she's from, they might be thinking, people might be done with the show after that. So who knows? But in the meantime, this season deals with Hordak trying to get this portal up and running, what the repercussions of said portal will be, and Shadow Weaver trying to help Adora defeat the Horde. We also get... This season also deals with Catra starting to lose her mind. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about... Because I think there are 2 or 3 real major lanes, major plots that these 6 episodes deal with in terms of character interactions or character development. There's Catra's sort of descent into madness. You have Entrapta and her new best friend, Hordak.
That was adorable.
It really was.
Yeah, she's like, I have a lab buddy. Entrapta is pretty much my favorite character at this point.
Yeah.
I love that she is just so consumed with creating. She does not understand the difference between good and evil. It is simply creating for the sake of creation. She gets so into it. I love that everyone's like, don't touch. And she's like, but touch.
Yeah, she is chaotic neutral if I've ever seen one.
And I'm not going to lie, I want those prehensile pigtails. I love how she just I love when she bends them and she can sit on them or she can lay on them. And I love how they split and she can grab whatever she wants. I want hair like that.
Yeah,
I want my hair short.
she's probably, in a lot of ways, she's probably one of the best written characters on here. She's a lot of fun. And it's so funny because, prior to the show, sort of our pre-show meeting, we talked about Catra having this ability to take the piss out of characters. More on that in a minute. And Entrapta does a fair bit of that herself, just not directly. When you look at Hordak for the first 2 seasons, and even going into this one, is your sort of stereotypical, Cobra Commander, Serpentor, Skeletor, Mumra.
The James Bond villain stroking the cat in his chair saying, it's like, do it. Yeah.
Right.
He wasn't a character. He was a plot motivator, pretty much.
And it was always, I'm the best ever, and you're all beneath me, and he mistreats his people, and he's angry and yelling all the time. And none of that affects her in any way, shape, or form, and she does not truck with any of it. And then in this very indirect way, she's like, she realizes that this is actually as good a place to start as any. She realizes that his armor isn't working, and so she's like, "Yeah, let me fix that for you." And Hordak, who is the leader of the Horde and the ultimate evil, and she, in her mind, just reframes him as her lab buddy. They're creating together. They were an adorable couple.
I did like Hordak's new look with the new armor, but when he had removed it, you see he's kind of got the mohawk flopping to the side. I think my exact words were, "Oh, Hordak's going through an emo phase." Because that's what it looked like.
Keeping with Hordak for a second, what did you think? They went into a little bit of his origin, him being the defective clone of Horde Prime and all of that, and they dealt a smidgen with the origins of the Horde, at least as far as Etheria is concerned.
They were definitely going in a different direction than the original, in which Skeletor and Hordak served under Horde Prime, Primeval, I don't know, big scary bad guy, who I mostly remember from the He-Man She-Ra Christmas special is something that you really couldn't see because he was constantly covered by clouds of, I guess, smoke or whatever.
So it was Galactus.
Very Galactus, but he had these robotic-like hands and this very mechanical voice. To the point that you never actually heard Hordak's name clearly.
So it was a kind of a cross between live-action Galactus and Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Terrific.
Actually, that's pretty close. So this is definitely a different way they're going, but I kind of like it, especially since I have a feeling we're setting up for kind of a Hordak versus Primeval, ending for maybe the next season. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously he's a defective clone. I could very easily see them going the storyline of Primeval showing up and going, "Okay, now you're useless. Now you go away. I'm going to take over." And Hordak essentially saying, "No, I did all of this. I'm staying in charge."
Yeah, they can go in any number of directions. They can go with, okay, well, you served your purpose, and then, he doesn't want to die, so he rebels, or, Horde Prime decides that now they know where, and this is skipping to the end here, but now they know, because they've actually opened the portal, where Etheria has been. It's been in this pocket dimension for all this time, that they might as well just blow the sucker up. He was just like, I've put in all this effort, I'm not letting you blow up the planet. It's a very Voltron type thing. I don't know how much of Voltron you saw, but after the first couple of seasons when they dealt with, I can't remember his name, whoever the main bad guy was, they brought in Lotor, and Lotor was the big bad for a season, and then Lotor defected, and Lotor was on Voltron's side for a while until it turns out he was using them for other purposes that were in conflict with the other bad guys. So
I will say this: I'm really hoping that we don't get Hordak, defecting to Bright Moon or something, because if that happens, the '80s kid in me is going to throw my Cocoa Puffs at the freaking TV.
Again, if it follows the Voltron model, people seem to kind of mark this off on your bingo card, everybody. People seem to jump back and forth between heel and face pretty fluidly. Whatever, if the plot line needs them to defect to the good guys, they defect to the good guys. But then there's always like an ulterior motive for why they're doing so, which makes them evil again. I think, and I applaud them for that, because I think if you just did a straight good guy, bad guy thing and nobody ever changed, nobody evolved in a way that, didn't take you to strange and interesting places in the plot, I think it would get boring. That's the problem with a lot of the 80s kids' TV structure was there was very, very bad, there was very, very good, and never the twain shall meet. And, the bad guys always lost, but they always came back for more. Cobra got defeated every time. I don't think Cobra ever won. But you came back to see, to see the constant ass whooping by G.I. Joe. I think the only one that kind of handled it better was the Transformers, because occasionally the Decepticons got one over on the Autobots, but still a lot of the same structure. Bad guys over Mia, good guys over Mia. So one of the things I liked about these Netflix cartoons is they're not afraid to kind of play with the structure of things, and see where that takes them. So let me throw this at you, unless you have a whole lot more to say about Hordak and Entrapta, just to get your reaction. We don't have to talk about it for too long. I watched this with my daughter on Saturday, and her first question was like, when are we going to see the other princesses? And I laughed, and I'm like, Lily, I'm watching the same show as you. I haven't watched it ahead. I don't know what to tell you. They'll show up when they show up. And they did show up for I think one episode. But yeah, this was very low on the princess team up power.
Nothing is ever going to top that season 2 episode where we see, I can't remember which character has the flashback, but we see all of them in their 1980s garb, and they're all like, "Oh hell no!" I was like, okay, nothing's gonna top this. That is awesome.
But yeah, they kind of minimized them. They focused. There was a lot of focus on Catra and to a lesser extent the lobster gal, Scorpia. They I didn't think they gave the good guys much. I mean, there's a bit of a stretch over a few episodes where they're dealing with the Crimson Wastes, but a lot of this focused on the bad guys. So
that's the problem with having only 6 episodes in a season. You really don't get to develop a lot of characters. I mean, think about most seasons of TV shows that we watch on a regular basis have at least 13, usually going to about 20 episodes. Mm-hmm. This was only 6. Not to mention we had to introduce Huntara, our new character there. Voiced, interestingly enough, by Gina Davis, a woman I never would have picked for voiceover work, but you know what? It works. It's what I'm listening. I was listening to him like, you know what? I can't see Gina Davis making a lucrative career as a voiceover actor, but her voice works really well for Huntara.
As you get older in Hollywood as a woman, it's harder and harder to find roles. It's one of the few things they haven't really changed about Hollywood. I mean, occasionally you get something that's just made for elder women, but Hollywood's a young woman's game, and so Gina Davis just had a role on Glow, but I think outside of that and then this voice role, I haven't seen Gina Davis in a lot. So I'm sure at this point, she's taken what gigs come her way, and she's happy to do them.
Yeah, what was the line from Goldie Hawn? There's 3 roles in Hollywood for women: Babe, Tina Turner, and Driving Miss Daisy.
And Goldie Hawn would know. So, all right, let's unless you have anything more there, let's talk about Catra. Mm-hmm. So they built this up last season. Last season, Catra became kind of head of the Horde as far as the ground forces go, and over the course of 7 episodes, she's manipulated by Shadow Weaver, and we talked about this in the previous 2 shows regarding Catra, that she's one of the parts of her character is dealing with abandonment, also feeling passed over and looked past. Like, what starts out as a friendly kind of rivalry with Adora sort of evolves into outright jealousy and this need to prove herself. And then I think the final straw was Shadow Weaver escaping and her end up being imprisoned. Hordak goes to kill her, goes to execute her, and Entrapta's like, no, I need her. She's really good at finding first one's tech. So let's use her for that. And then kind of Catra just, more so than the previous seasons, really blossoms into this really great personality disordered antisocial character who, as I said earlier, really takes the piss out of those around her. Like she has a great force of personality, which really reaches its heights when she confronts Tongue Lasher, who is this big beastly strong character, and she's just no fear at all, and outright making fun of him and bringing him low right in front of everybody else. It's a great bit.
Absolutely. And like I said when we were talking earlier, I love that she's making fun of the name Tongue Lasher. I'm like, have you been paying attention to anyone else's names?
I'm sure if she has the opportunity to make fun of other people's names, she will. But it served its purpose in that particular scene.
Another was minor note, but I love the symbol on the jackets. The kind of, it's like a bit of an atonement symbol with the snake eating its tail. Nice touch.
We see Catra, do all of that when she's in the Crimson Wastes, and then they finally get back to the Horde base, and now it's a race between the good guys and the bad guys to stop this portal from being opened, because what Entrapta figures out is that if they open up this portal, they're going to blow reality up. I think somewhere around there they also figure out that Etheria is actually not in space anymore, and it hasn't been for quite some time. It's in this pocket dimension that that one of the earlier She-Ras had opened to protect it from the Horde.
Yeah, and again, we get to see more of Catra just completely losing her mind. We get that scene when she finally finds out that Shadow Weaver escaped and is in Bright Moon. And again, you really only see Catra's face for a minute, but she's just got this expression on her face that her mind is blown, and not in a good way. She walks in and she's like, okay, no more games, get the portal open, and she is officially gone off the deep end.
Yeah, she's less interested in the mission, so she's more interested in... She has to prove that she's better than Adora. That, Adora is sort of... In her mind, her perception is that everything goes Adora's way. People lift her up. They seek her company. Everybody sees the value in Adora, and nobody sees the value in Catra except for Scorpia, and she doesn't seem to care about Scorpia.
To top it off, Adora defected from the Horde. She is a traitor to them. And yet when Shadow Weaver goes to her first, in Catra's mind, it's not just that Adora always gets everything. It's that she's basically screaming, she is a traitor. Why do you not see this? That's part of I think that's a good chunk of the reason why she just is so gone with her obsession with Adora. It's not just wanting to be better than her. It's wanting to prove that she's the better soldier because she stayed.
Right. And that's the interesting debate between Adora and Catra, because Adora is still trying to bring Catra over. Like, Adora defected because she saw the inherent evil in the Horde. And, she no longer saw value in the mission. She saw that that the mission of the Horde was a bad thing, and so that's why she defected. And she's trying to get that across to Catra. She's like, none of us have to be here. None of us have to support this regime. If you would only see that you're on the wrong side of history here. And Catra's like, no. I'm not on the wrong side of anything. I'm on my side. And I think for Catra, it's not a matter of morality so much as it is a matter of might and weakness. So she doesn't see the forces of Bright Moon as particularly strong. She sees, at least my opinion, she sees the Horde as a mighty force. And so she's like, I'm not really interested in the moral implications here. I'm throwing in with the side that's going to win.
This is actually something we haven't really discussed. We know that there are other, candidates in the Horde, like Kyle, who, the butt of everything. I love that he's such the butt of every joke that when Catra gets somebody else thrown under her, she goes, I'm going to name you Kyle. The name Kyle has just become, that has become the ultimate insult now. But it makes you wonder, we know that Adora defected from the Horde because she did not know that they were evil. She was manipulated. She was kept inside. the Fright Zone, she was fed the propaganda. She did not know what the other side was doing. It makes you wonder if some of the other people who were training with her in the Fright Zone, if they know the difference.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to believe that Adora is the only person that has been brought up in the propaganda of the Fright Zone, and but she was the only one who just suddenly realized, oh wait, there's a side B to all this.
Yeah, it's not something they've dealt with yet. They may or may not. Who knows? I guess I don't want to get too far on a rant. I don't want to get depressing about this, but when you think about the atrocities certain armies throughout history have committed, they were able to do so because the leadership, were able to convince them that the enemy was less than human, and this is what they deserved. These are animals, and this is how you treat animals, that sort of thing. And so you can get yourself to believe anything is right under the right circumstances.
I think our current government has proven that.
So, it's a children's cartoon. I don't think you're going to see too much of that. I think then you sort of lose your intended audience. But there are minor elements of that, just enough to get a discussion going among us adults who happen to watch this thing. This all leads to Catra opening the portal just to prove a point, and then Adora spends 2 episodes living out this fantasy that Catra has created, where they didn't break up and she didn't defect to Bright Moon. But Adora sort of figures out along the way that this isn't real, and then she has to shut the portal down. So let me stop there for a second and deal with one of the few things that the good guys are dealing with, and that is the Queen and her daughter. Gosh, whose names are Glimmer.
Angela and Glimmer, yes.
So Angela and Glimmer probably got the only real plot line of the entire series amongst the good guys. This was a season, like I said, very heavily focused on the bad guys, and so the only thing the good guys got was this philosophical debate between Angela and Glimmer about what is the nature of bravery, what does it mean to be responsible for people, and we have sort of clashing heads on that between Glimmer, who's very much a she's very much a soldier, and she wants to go fight the fight and take the risks and do what she has to do. She realizes sort of the gravity of their situation, that this is war. You have to take risks, or eventually they're going to lose all the advantages that they have, and they're going to get wiped out. The end is nigh, and if they don't take some bold moves, that may end up getting someone killed. They're all going to die. And you have Angela, who I think she's very conservative in how she goes about things, and she definitely doesn't want to risk Glimmer getting into any kind of danger. And that's where I think the bulk of the debate between the two lies. What did you think of Glimmer and her mother?
I think we see a lot of that, especially when we get the final episode and we see the alternate reality of King Micah still being alive. I feel that Queen Angela, I keep wanting to say Angela just because it rolls off the tongue so much either, but no, it's Angela. There actually is, emphasis on the "la." And I get the feeling that she is very terrified of losing her daughter the same way she lost her husband. I can't remember if they said what happened to King Micah. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I was under the impression he got killed dealing with Shadow Weaver.
Was that it? I don't know. Some of the episodes start to blur together after a while, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I will say the whole alternate reality thing, was anyone else getting serious House of M vibes from this whole thing?
You expecting someone to yell at "No more mutants"?
Yes.
I'm actually trying to find the episode where they show you the flashback of Shadow Weaver.
I think it's in season. Yeah, I think it's season 2. Let's see here.
I want to say, yeah, it's not the finale.
Yeah, there's an episode. I'm on the wiki here, but it doesn't say how it ended. Mentoring the young apprentice Micah until her pursuit of dark magic to end the war corrupted her and led her to join the Horde. But it doesn't say what happened to him in the wiki. And there's been so many episodes now, I legit cannot remember what exactly there.
I vaguely remember her dealing with dark magic ended up affecting him in some way, and he died. I'd have to rewatch the episode though. In any case, that's where they deal with that. But so it's part of the reason why they spend the first episode, where Shadowy was like, the train is coming, and Angela's like, I will not listen to you. You're the reason why my husband's dead.
Nice touch, by the way, showing that She-Ra's unlocking her healing powers. That was one of her abilities in the 80s series. One that it took her a little while to discover. So, again, nice nod that they're still unlocking some of her abilities.
Yeah,
I like that.
That was a big trope in Voltron as well, where the Lions and then together as Voltron, they kept along the... none of this stuff comes with an instruction manual. And they spent a good many episodes either figuring out how to work the damn Lions and Voltron itself, or along the way discovering the Lions and Voltron had more powers than they knew about. So that's an ongoing trope here that they're reusing with She-Ra, which is good. You don't want to have a fully formed character here. That's how we get into boring stuff. But any more on Glimmer and Angela? She sacrifices herself, realizing that she's a bit of a coward and that she's been traumatized by the loss of her husband, and she's projecting that fear onto Glimmer, who is rejecting it, and it's causing a rift between the two. Having seen the error of her ways, and realizing that they don't want Adora to sacrifice herself because they need her in the fight, she sacrifices herself, saying, I've made a great many mistakes here, so I'm going to do one good thing and go out a hero, because we don't really have any other choice in the matter. And so she sacrifices herself to save the portal, which of course signals the and having done so, they signal the Horde, which is out in space, and the final words of the season are, "Oh, there you are." Anyway, anything else on Glimmer and Angela?
Well, now that Angela is out of the picture, it does make you wonder. Glimmer is, of course, the princess, and she is next in line for the throne. Is she suddenly now going to have to take over as leader of Bright Moon? Is her aunt, dumbest name on the planet, Castaspella? I can't get over how stupid that is. Yes, Castaspella? Good. Oh my god, I can't even say it with a straight face. I can't. Yeah, is her aunt going to take over as ruler of Bright Moon now? I mean, Glimmer is a warrior. I do not see her sitting into the role of monarch very well. She's going to want to get out there and fight.
Well, I think that's grist for the mill, isn't it? I think the assumption is, well, you have to take over and be the queen, and she's going to brush up against it, and it's going to be not the best fit for her. And that's I think that's her arc going forward, is trying to figure out how to be Glimmer and the queen. And I think she'll fail at it initially, and we'll see her evolve over time. I'm actually looking forward to that.
I do love the line, "My name is Glimmer and I sparkle."
Yes, for all these heady topics, the show still has that air of childish goodness to it.
Totally.
My daughter actually really enjoyed it. It's one of the few things we'll watch together. My son was nowhere to be found. He was like, "Hey, do you want to watch She-Ra?" No.
No. No, your son still wants to watch the Banana Splits movie.
Me and him watched Batman versus Dracula earlier tonight, and that was his choice. He's a little budding horror boy there. He'll be
Robert will be proud.
He'll be hosting Damn You Hollywood, the horror edition, very soon. As soon as he graduates from speech class.
You said it, not me.
Anything else? Because I think that covers all the major parts of this.
What did you think of Huntara? Like, I briefly discussed Gina Davis's voiceover work with her, but what did you think of her as a character?
I thought she was fine. I thought the 2 episodes dealing with the 1 or 2 episodes dealing with the Crimson Waste were fun episodes, especially the bit with Catra and Tongue Lasher. But I think overall, introducing new characters into this and kind of focusing on them and giving them a story or two kind of breaks things up. I know my daughter was like, my daughter loves the princess, the sea princess.
Mermista.
Yeah, she she wants Mermista to have her own series. She's, but for me, who's a little bit more mature when it comes to, development of story, I'm like, no, I want to see new worlds. I want to see new areas of Etheria. Bring some new characters into this. We've seen some of these. We know what they're all about. We've only got 6 episodes here, so let's do something novel with them.
Again, there are still quite a few characters that we haven't seen be brought in from the 80s series. And again, I really think that they are biding their time with this. They are not rushing this series to completion anytime soon. They are very, very slowly adding in elements from the 80s series into this. But so there is still a lot that they can develop with and a lot that they can take from.
Well, presumably, the next season's got to deal with the Horde, right? The Horde have to come through have to open up their own portal, and now they've, either drag Etheria out of the pocket dimension or go into the pocket dimension. And, as we talked about before, there's probably going to be a shifting of power from Hordak to Horde Prime, and Brightmoon's going to have a whole new series of problems. I would imagine that's where we go next.
More than likely, but again, I am hoping that we do bring in a few more elements from the 80s series. I'm a sucker for nostalgia. I love that they brought in Huntara and Tongue Lasher. They were prominent characters in the 80s cartoon, and I love it when they are able to develop these characters in a new way. I mean, what they did with Scorpia is just hilarious. It is so funny.
If there's one character that I really feel bad for in all of this, it's her. She's trying so hard, and like we talked, and especially in the first season, about the gay elements of the show and the characterizations, and it's. I think the relationship between Catra and Scorpia, from her point of view, I think depending on who you are, you can frame it as it's love, it's obsession, it's friendship. I think it's open to interpretation. But by the same token, it's also abusive. This poor woman keeps reaching out to Catra, and Catra wants none of it. This is not the person Catra is doing all this for. She's doing it for Adora. It's a very sad and tragic little love triangle they've got going on.
Speaking of those elements, did you catch in one of I think it's the second episode, Huntara was actually flirting with the female waitress.
I actually didn't catch it, but that's damn funny. All right, I'll give you the final word here. You keep saying, you want to see them introduce more stuff from the 80s cartoon. If you're writing season 4, what do you bring in from that era?
Well, again, I'm not 100% certain where the ties with He-Man are going to be. So there's a handful of characters that I'm not sure if they totally have the rights to or not.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Is there anything from the cartoon itself, the old She-Ra cartoon?
There's one character, I'm trying to remember exactly what her name is, and I'm actually going through. There is a Grayskull wiki, believe it or not. I'm trying to remember what the name of the character is. Let's see here.
So I'm going to look up She-Ra Princess of Power here and look at the characters. Let's see if we can figure this out. Main characters. We've got Light Hope, Madame Raz. We met all of them. We've got Cowl. We've met Bo. We've met Glimmer. We've met Queen Angela. We've met Castaspella. We've met Frosta, Natassa, Perfuma, Peekaboo.
No, we haven't met Peekaboo yet.
Okay, we have not met Peekaboo. How about Flutterina? Whoa.
No, we haven't met Flutterina yet.
Flutterina. Sorry, go
I
ahead.
hate to admit it, I get Flutterina and Perfuma mixed up all the time. And no, we have not met her yet. There's also an element here. This is kind of interesting, and I wonder if it's something that's going to translate over. It's Catra in the 1980s. She was basically just a Barbie doll with blue hair, and she talked like Eartha Kitt. Seriously, everything was. She meowed. Everything's like, meow, okay, I'm gonna go. Yeah, exactly like that. But she had ability. She was wearing a cat mask over her head, very similar to the way Catra does now. But when she lowered it and it covered her eyes, she turned into like this panther-like creature. And I thought that would be actually kind of a cool thing to see Catra do, like a power she has. If she moves her mask down, all of a sudden she has this new ability. I thought that'd be kind of cool.
Okay, I feel like we need to have Sweet Bee in the next series.
Oh yeah, Sweet Bee. There's that.
We've got Spiritina.
Haven't seen her. I guess I'd also like a little backstory on some of the other princesses. Like you said, we don't get a lot of time with them in this season. And again, 6 episodes, very definitive plot line. They got to get from point A to point B with this. I get it. You don't have a lot of time to focus on the others. But our Mr. Perfuma, Frosta, and even Entrapta, my favorite character, there's some backstories there, and I'd like to learn a little bit more about them and their kingdoms.
Okay. That being the case, I think we've covered all the major points here, and we can close up shop. What do you think?
I think that sounds good.
All right. Go ahead and, once again, plug your Honeysuckle Rose Creations there and tell them where they can find all your wares.
Intersection of Geek and Chic. Again, this weekend we're in Poplar Bluffs for CMOCon. This is our first time working this show, but our folks up at Cape Comic Con in Cape Girardeau couldn't recommend it enough. And then next weekend, we are bolting out a little further east to Cincinnati Comic Expo. It's one of our favorite shows. We go to it every year. I am so excited to be going back to that. The massive U-turn going across country, not so much, but I'll live. And as always, you can find our stores on Etsy and Handmade at Amazon, and you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Under Protest Twitter.
Alrighty. As for me, see here. We did It Chapter 2 earlier in the week. It's Onslaught Month, all month long here on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network. We reviewed the new Kill Switch Engage. We're supposed to be doing some boxing coverage tomorrow night if Robert gets done with reviewing TNA Impact for 401 Mania in time, so that's up in the air. But Pat and I are definitely doing a watch-along for Bloodsport 2, so go ahead and check that out once it drops. There'll be Dark Crystal Age of Resistance review and a review of Clash of the Champions, and AAA invades Madison Square Garden. We'll take a look at both of those on the 17th. We've got Tarja in the Raw on the Metal Hammer of Doom. Sean and I will be doing an on-trial for the Dark Crystal. There'll be some more boxing coverage on the 21st. We'll also keep an eye on that Area 51, and it devolves into hilarity the way I hope it will. I think Alexis and I are going to get together and have a chat about it. Mostly we're just going to point and laugh. So we've got reviews of Rambo coming up, Korn, Disenchantment Season 3, Gotham by Gaslight, the book and the movie, Hell Yeah, Beverly Hills 902, BH 90210, and then that's it for the month of September. October is all horror-type things all month long, so when it gets a little bit closer, we'll advertise those as well. We'll plug those. You can check out our shows on Legion, our watch-along for Khabib versus Poirier, our last wrestling show, which was New Japan, Royal Quest, NXT Cardiff, NXT UK Cardiff, and AEW All Out. So, anything you're looking for, we've probably reviewed it here on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network. So, for Alexis Hejna from Honeysuckle Rose Creations, this has been TV Party Tonight. Be well, be safe, and behave. Hey everybody, I really do hope you love the Radulich Broadcasting Network. Did you know that you can actually get paid just for listening to this podcast? I know it sounds insane, but it's true. We just discovered this free new app called Podcoin, and it literally pays you to listen to podcasts. Here's how it works. You listen to podcasts, and you earn Podcoin while you listen. Then you turn that Podcoin in for gift cards at places like Amazon or Starbucks, or if you're a good person, you could even donate that Podcoin to charity. The more you listen, the more you earn. Here's what you do. Download the app right now on iPhone or Android, and I have a special code for you. Simply use our code MARKWED5. That's capital MARKWED 5. Capital MARKWED 5. MARKWED 5. And you'll get 300 Podcoin just for signing up. And if you listen to enough of us on there, you can get a cappuccino at Starbucks or an Amazon gift card on us. So go ahead and go listen to this podcast or virtually any podcast on Podcoin and sign up with code MARKWED5. I swear it'll change the way you listen to podcasts.
Welcome to Four Scores, a new podcast series hosted by Variety's John Burlingame. Four Scores will take listeners on a magical journey into the world of film and television composers. Listen wherever you hear your favorite podcasts.
Hey, sports fans, football season is here, and the time has come for you and your friends to have some fun. MyBookie.net is the industry-leading sports action website that offers real Vegas odds on football, baseball, basketball, college, and all your favorite sports events. You can take a side, total, or try their in-game live action. Go to MyBookie.net to open an account and use promo code CHAMPION to be entered into our amazing prize pool. That's MyBookie.net, promo code CHAMPION. Get in on the action today. No deposit is necessary. Terms and conditions apply for entertainment purposes only. Void where prohibited.